Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to do this video and to share with y'all where my next travel adventure is going to be. I think I've gotten into a groove on my channel on doing travel vlog type videos. I enjoy it. It is a fun way for me to document the adventures, the travels I go on. I find it to be easier than just taking one or 2,000 pictures and trying to find the best pictures. Here I can show and share more of the feel, the culture, the experience of some of these trips I go on. I do want to practice doing vlogs just like I did last time before I went on the Camino de Santiago. So as the weather gets better here in the Pacific Northwest, right now it's been raining, and that's what it does in the winter. After the ground starts to get less muddy and a little bit less rain, I'll try to go on some hikes and bring you all with me, show you some cool things out here. But this summer, I am going to be going to Japan. I am very pumped, very excited. I've thought about going to Japan for some time now. I didn't know if it was a place I'd be going to later in my life. It seems like a very nice country with lots of awesome things to see and do. Once I made the decision to go to Japan and I started researching, and I'm going to show you a little bit on how I research and plan for a trip, I've been getting more and more excited. I've been learning more about Japan, some awesome things I never knew about, and I'm going to show with you what my rough itinerary is. So I'll be there this summer for about 3 weeks, and yeah, I'm just excited to share the adventure with you as well as document for myself so I can look back on one day and see what are some things I liked about that trip, what are some things that I could have done differently, so I can share that with you, or even share that knowledge and experience with maybe future kids of my own if I'm ever lucky enough to have some. So, anyways, let's get into it. Let's change the video background to Japan. I got a good one over here. And let's share screen of a of, of some pictures that I got here. So, all right, what I'm going to be doing here is just going over with you a little bit about what my general plan is. And if you've ever been to Japan, if you have any ideas on places you would like to go, I'm going to put myself down here. If you've ever been and you have ideas, suggestions on places that I should go, please let me know in the comments below. So, all the red dots are places that I've researched and made a bookmark on with Google Maps on places that I should potentially visit. Now, obviously, as this list comes together, and this happened with me in the Camino, by the way, I had over 100 places bookmarked. I didn't see all of them, but I did go past many of them. And as time got closer to my trip, I really prioritized, okay, these are the places I absolutely do need to see. And if I get to some of these other places, cool. If not, well, then next time. So already right now, yes, there's some cool places up here. Will I get there? We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. So here's my plan starting out from the very beginning. I'm going to be flying into Narita Airport and then spending the rest of an afternoon in Tokyo. And while I'm in Tokyo, let's zoom way in here. While I'm in Tokyo, I plan on going to some of these cool places. There's some hostels there. And by the way, I know a lot of people have talked about Japan being expensive. From what I found with ticket prices, now I've never been to Asia before, but for ticket prices this summer, I saw that Japan and Australia were among the cheapest ticket prices. And when I've looked at places to stay, you know me, I don't need a hotel. I like staying in hostels and meeting other people because you can make friends that way, share in your adventures, experiences, learn things. I love traveling that way. It is awesome. Just like you saw in my Camino videos, I made a lot of friends on the Camino. I am hoping to make some good friends here. I may or may not even have some friends in my own personal life who might join me on this trip. There is a fellow former coworker who's talking about joining me, and if so, I'm very excited for that. So The first thing I saw with Japan is their train rail system is amazing. It is way cheaper than renting a car. I looked up some of the car prices and oh my God, it's ridiculous. So you can get a rail pass or just buy train tickets and possibly overall travel for cheaper than a rail pass and go that way. Now, the first area I'm going to be going to is, well, that's not it. Let me zoom in more. Is this is what it's called, Senso-ji. I'm going to be butchering so many of the names here, but there seems to be a lot of cool areas in Tokyo. I have a hostel not too far from here. Again, on booking.com, Hostel World, the apps, I've been seeing places for around $20, which is pretty good. It's not like Latin America where you can get hostels from $7 to 15 and $15 in places like Guatemala, Peru, Bolivia will get you some very nice places and you'll meet some amazing people. Sometimes you got to research the reviews on the hostels because maybe it's a party hostel and those can be hard places to sleep in when all the Dutch, English, Australian people are drinking till 2 a.m. and partying. But, some people are into that. There's a time in my life where I was more into that. After experiencing that and staying at those places after a long plane ride, I don't know if I want to experience that again, at least right after I get off the plane. So I'm going to be going to this cool little district here in Tokyo. It looks like there's a lot of awesome shops to walk around and see. And my hostel's within walking distance. So I'm going to take the train and go there. Here's the really exciting thing that I learned about. Now, if you watch my Camino videos and you are familiar with my Camino friend, Stephanie. Stephanie, if you're watching, hello, and I miss you, and thank you for teaching me about this. I never knew about this, but there is a sister Camino in Japan. Did any of you guys know about this? Apparently, all the Camino people knew about it except for me. I don't know how I never heard about it. I did hear about how on this island, I believe it's called Shinjuku, there's an 88 temple trek that people can do. You don't have to walk the whole thing. People use scooters, take the bus, but you get this giant scroll that's like 3 feet by 5 feet, and it has 88 individual marks that you get, what do you call it, calligraphy on it, and you try to hit up all 88 temples, and it takes about 2 months. That is something I want to do down the line. I believe that's Shinjuku, right? Yes, I believe it's this island. I am not doing that. I don't have the time for that this summer. Again, this is going to take about 3 weeks. The sister Camino is right here, and it is called the Kumano Kodo. It's not going to take a month. It's going to take about 4 or 5 days, and it looks amazing. So here in this other Google tab, this is the end of the Kumano Kodo. It's one of the most famous pictures in Japan. I mean, look at that. That is awesome. How does it compare with the Camino hike? Well, it's a little complicated. So you stay over here. This is the popular trek. You stay over here. You take a bus to around here, I want to say, or maybe it's here. I don't know. And for most people, they'll spend one day walking to a town called Takahara. Again, I'm going to be butchering names here. They spend another day walking up here where there's hot springs and stuff, another day walking around here, and then another day walking here and finishing it. I'm going to combine this whole route right here. The first day, people will do about 5K, and inside the first kilometer, you gain about 400 meters in elevation. So the beginning is very steep and tough. I'm hoping to start earlier in the day because it's going to be summer. I know it's hot. I've already been practicing walking. I have a treadmill. I put that sucker on 10 degrees max. So I'm I'm gaining about, what would it be, 1,600 feet in elevation through an hour. And over the whole, if I combine the whole thing, it's about 10 miles day one. And I'll be gaining 700 700 meters in elevation by the time I am done. So I've had tougher days on the Camino. Yes, the first part is going to be very tough. The first kilometer, I might not vlog anything because I will be dying. But after that, maybe I'll pull out the selfie stick, turn it on. You can see, you can watch me suffer. Won't that be wonderful? And yeah, so what's the deal with the Kumano Kodo? Why is it called the Sister Camino? Basically, it has nothing to do with the Catholic Camino de Santiago, other than I believe there's only two World Heritage pilgrimages or UNESCO heritage pilgrimages in the world. The Kumano Kodo and the Camino de Santiago are roughly about the same age as far as how old these pilgrimages are. This one I found a little bit more frustrating to book, not going to lie. To start and to finish, you could find places on Booking. That was easy. In between, it was hit or miss. You didn't really know where exactly to go, not to go. There's a Camino travel website where you put in requests to stay at places, and the website was made in the 90s, I think. It does not work. You need multiple tabs open. It takes forever to go page to page. And even after you find the best places you want, maybe for the best prices, which is something I was looking for, something that fit my fitness level, you submit a request and then they have to come back and approve it. And in doing the request, you have to put in what are three other options you have of where to stay. It was, if you're going to do the Kumano Kodo and you have thoughts about that, I might make another video all about the booking adventure. It was something. I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this one though. So the Kumano Kodo, it's like 1,000-year-old pilgrimage. It's really cool looking. So one thing I found that I really liked, here's a good view. So there's many routes on the Kumano Kodo, by the way. I don't know if you can see that. It's the yellow route, the Nakahechi route. There's other routes you can do. I'm doing the 4-day Nakahechi route. And yeah, there's a lot of old temples. Again, this is probably day one where they're showing the massive incline. Look at some of those trees. I mean, it reminds me of the Pacific Northwest. But one thing I really enjoyed about the Camino was in a lot of these towns and villages, it felt like walking back in time. Like, not only was I in another place, but I was transported back in time. Seeing these old 800-year-old churches, 1,000-year-old churches, 2,000-year-old structures. There is these tombs and temples. You guys maybe saw the videos. It was so cool to be transported back in time, and it feels like you're in another world, on another planet. So I really enjoyed that about the Camino. I'm hoping to get a little bit of that on the Kumano Kodo. And look at this. Look at these views. Now, am I going to be walking in something like this? Probably not. I don't think I'll be doing that because I'll be sweating too much, especially day one. But yeah, and it's going to be a hot time. So I'm going to need to make sure I have water with me. And yeah, I'm pumped. There's hot springs. It's really cool. So yeah, I don't know if you guys know this, Japan's known for their hot springs. So let's go back to the Japan map. So Japan, similar to the Pacific Northwest. Little mini geology lesson. You guys know how there's a lot of earthquakes in Japan. And a lot of those earthquakes, there's a subduction zone that's pushing magma up through the island. And that's why you have volcanoes and mountains like Mount Fuji and others. So there's magma thermal activity. There's occasional earthquakes. Nothing I'm worried about too much. And yeah, I think that's going to be really cool that I get to go to some awesome hot springs and see some of those views. So after the Kumano Kodo, that's already going to take up close to a week. I'll be in Tokyo for a day. And then I'll go down. We'll go down to the Kumano Kodo. I do have 2 nights before I start this, 2 or 3. I forget. I believe one night I will be staying in Osaka. I've heard good things about Osaka. Let's zoom over to Osaka. There's castles and stuff. It looks really cool to see. Yeah, look at that. The Osaka Castle. There is this one other area that might be the hostel I'm staying at. Oh yeah, here it is. Dotonbori. So let's type that in. This area of Osaka, I've seen a lot of, I mean, look at that. I've seen a lot of cool reviews on. Like, it's obviously more of a modernized city, but I've heard this area, it's beautiful. A lot of great restaurants to go to, things to try out. I'm excited about that. So when I'm in Osaka for a day before the Kumano Kodo, I'll make sure to check out some of these places. And won't that be something? I'll be going from Tokyo, which is one of, if not the largest metropolitan city on the planet, to Osaka. I'm going to check out some of this stuff. Then I'm going to be going to do the Kumano Kodo. After the Kumano Kodo, let's zoom out here. After the Kumano Kodo, since I'm right here, I'm thinking of taking a train and going to Hiroshima. Hiroshima, I'm going to have to figure out what's the correct way to say that. Hiroshima looks really cool. And not only do I want to immerse myself in the culture, the food, as much as possible, the history, there's always been a personal interest of mine to visit the place where the first atomic bomb was detonated, or not detonated, but dropped and used. So I'm going to be going to the memorials there. There's the dome that survived the blast. So for those of you who don't know, the bomb was dropped. I believe it was on a bridge right here. The dome was right next to it. Oh my God, I'm trying to zoom in here. So this was the area where it was detonated. There's the bridge, and there's obviously memorials for everyone who passed in the blast. As a teenager, young adult, I got really into anime. There were things about the Hiroshima bomb and blast that I never knew about, that we as Americans never learned in history class, that blew my mind. That some pretty graphic stuff I'll be sharing. You know, people with literally walking around with skin melting off their bodies. Sorry if that grosses you out, but that's just a true part of history. And I just want to go there and feel the energy, experience the vibe, and I don't know, in a respectful way, just check the place out. There is, what is this? I don't even, what did I bookmark? Oh, I think this place right here is known for having some of the best ramen. I got to be honest with you. People have told me about, who've been to Japan, told me about how great the ramen is. And they're like, dude, you got to try the ramen. I have no idea. I'm not excited about the ramen part. And I think it's because the poor college student in me who ate way too many cheap bags of Mari-chan and top ramen. I can eat ramen sometimes, but this stuff's it has to be very different from the 89-cent crap that I ate for way too long. I've been ramened out for a while, but that's the worst ramen possible. Maybe it's like trying to order a steak from McDonald's and then going to Argentina. Obviously, it's going to be way better than anything you've had, but you get the point. So here's another cool area around Hiroshima. I can't say the names of these places, so I'll just show you a picture. The gate that's in the water. This thing, I've always seen pictures of it, thought it was really cool. Hiroshima Gate. You can walk up to it in low tide, and then when it's high tide, it looks like it's floating there. How cool is that? I cannot wait to go there. There's that island, this island, whose name I won't be able to pronounce, that I'll walk around in, and I think that'll be pretty cool. So I'm excited about, after the Kumano Kodo, going to Hiroshima. And maybe after Kumano Kodo, I might spend one more night in Osaka, then go to Hiroshima. And now that I'm thinking about it, maybe I'll just take a day to get down to Hiroshima and then come back up and stay in Osaka again. the Himeji Castle. I've heard this is one of the best castles in Japan. You're going to see me make a lot of spelling and pronunciation errors here. Look at that. Oh, would you look at that? That looks amazing. Can't wait to see it. I'm into history. I'm into culture. I'm into walking around. I don't want to just, when I travel, I don't want a vacation. I'm not a resort person who just wants to lay on my butt for 2 weeks or a week drinking and getting fat. For me, that's winter break every year. And I hate how I feel coming out of that. If I get a tan, okay, cool. But outside of that, I don't want to be gaining weight and getting drunk. It's not for me. I want to be traveling around, experiencing the culture, trying to learn the language. We'll see. I have about half a year to learn the language. Where am I at? I'm at around 20 minutes. So I got to tell you, once I start going back north, and this will clearly be into week 2, I am probably most excited about Kyoto. And something that just popped into my head. Here you can see my ADHD brain working. By the way, with the Kumano Kodo being the sister Camino, I can get a dual Camino certificate completing the Kumano Kodo and the Camino. I already completed the Camino, so I'm going to be dual Camino certified. I'm doing the Camino again. And then in 4 or 5 years, I'll do the Camino del Norte. So I'll do it again. And then I'll do the Camino Portuguese maybe before that. And I'll do it again. So I'm hooked on Caminos. What can I say? Anyways, let's get back to the topic. This is my squirrel brain. You're getting a snapshot what it's like to think like me. It's all over the place. So Kyoto, temples and stuff. Where is it? Is it down here? You know what? I have an idea. We're going to go here. Kyoto. There's these cool Kyoto gates. You've probably seen pictures on Instagram. Look at this stuff. That's awesome. There's Kyoto temples and shrines and all this cool stuff. Guys, I am so excited for Kyoto. Kyoto, again, it looks like a city that's where you're there and you'll be transported back in time. Oh yeah, there's the bamboo forest. I gotta tell you about the bamboo forest. In a lot of these places, by the way, if you want the better pictures, you gotta go there early, just like any national park. When I go on hikes out here in the Pacific Northwest, if I'm going to be all the tourists and yuppies taking photos and using their selfie sticks, now I've become one of those people. But if I'm going to get ahead of those people, I got to get it at these places by 7 a.m., 8 a.m. But look at these pictures. These bamboo stalks are like 100 feet tall. How cool is that? There's a monkey park. I don't even know what kind of monkeys these are, but look at them. They're just running around. I don't know if they're like the ones in Indonesia where they'll steal your phone and then only give it back if you give them food and chocolate. That's a true thing, by the way. You can look that up. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to get in a fight with a monkey. But if I do, he's going to be sorry. I'll offer it. I'll give a peace offering at first. But if a monkey tries to steal something of mine, there's going to be problems. I might have to beat up a monkey. I won't. I love animals, you know that. But, I'm not that guy that the monkeys need to mess with. I believe in Kyoto there's a deer park. There's like wild deers. It might be Kyoto. I could be wrong on this. But yeah, there's like this area where there's just deer running around. I've also heard Japan has a cat island where there's just like tons of stray cats running around. I'm not sure I'm going to make it there. I'm very excited about Kyoto, though. Kyoto, I don't know what the name is, but there's this old district. And yeah, here are pictures of it. Look at that. That's Kyoto Old Town. Maybe. Oh, Higashiyama. Oh boy. Higashiyama District. I'm very excited about seeing this. I talked to another couple friends of mine who said You can just walk around in Kyoto, and there's these places called tea shops. To me, they sound very similar to the cafes in Europe, where they're cafes during the day and bars at night, and you just go there, chill. There's all these old timers hanging out there that you can drink sake with, just shoot the breeze with, and that all these random tea shops that are open late, you can get great food, drinks. Of course, when I get to Japan, speaking of good food, I talked about steaks before. I'm going to have to try Wagyu beef. I've always heard amazing things. I've never had Wagyu beef, so I'm going to have to see what all the fuss is about. But yeah, Kyoto looks cool. I'm going to see a geisha show. I have no idea what to expect with a geisha show. I know there's a movie or something called Memoirs of a Geisha. I have no idea what it's about. I've seen some references to it in animes, but I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to that. So I'm excited about Kyoto. First and foremost, Kyoto, we'll see if I spend 4 or 5 days there. It looks awesome. So zooming out. After Kyoto, I want to go. There's an old valley here. We'll see if I have time. I've heard there's like another old town up here. Again, we'll take it as we go. One of the next places I really want to go to, and this is something I just started looking into, is the Mount Fuji. I'm going to Mount Fuji, but I want to see if I can do the Mount Fuji hike. And from what I've heard, okay, that's not the picture I'm looking for. I clicked on the shrine and it shows me a picture of a waterfall. What's that all about? This is a famous Mount Fuji picture. I don't know the name of the shrine. Yeah, it's a pagoda. So, of course, I'm going to try to go here, get a similar picture. I don't think the cherry blossoms will be blooming because they'll be in the summer, not the spring. And by the way, Japan looks like a place you can visit year round. So I'll have to go back in the spring on a spring break or winter trip. Because I live in the PNW, I can take a quick plane over someday in the future. Should I like Japan? I expect to like Japan. So after going and seeing Mount Fuji, I am looking at possibly walking Mount Fuji. And here's this giant volcano. Yes, Mount Fuji is a volcano, just like Mount Hood in Oregon is a volcano. Supposedly, you can hike to the top of this thing in about 3 days. And from what I've read and researched thus far, and it's been very light, the hike isn't too bad. The hike isn't too bad. And I'll need to bring some warm clothes. But look at this. There's nothing technical about it. Is that the top? Maybe that's the top. I have no idea what the very top of Mount Fuji looks like. It looks paved. And you can start hiking it in July and August. Ooh, this looks like, are we going to, yeah, just a bunch of, oh God, just straight up switchbacks. That's going to be mental torture. So maybe I go up here and then I just hike switchbacks. But again, supposedly there's no technical skills needed. I'm not sure if you need to bring a tent, if there's hostels or places to stay at, if you can do it all in one day after going there. It looks relatively easy. I have a pair of crampons, which are just the metal spikes. Got them for cheap on Amazon. You just slip them over your shoes. So I can bring those with me should there be snow. And I got to tell you, we had some freezing rain and a lot, like a centimeter or so of ice out here a couple weeks ago. I threw the crampons on my shoes and everything was iced. My driveway, the road, everything. And I was able to walk around like a champ. No problems whatsoever. I didn't have to stomp my feet. Again, crampons are new. Maybe I'll have to sharpen the spikes on the bottom before I go. But yeah, I'm very, very interested in hiking to the top of Mount Fuji. I want to see if I can fit that in. This looks insane. Hey, I remember when I finished the Camino, one of the things I did not like, just me personally, is when it got very crowded. And I know Japan can feel very crowded, especially in places like Tokyo, Osaka. So I'm going in with a positive mindset. I'm just gonna embrace it and expect it. Usually I like being away from people, but if I'm expecting it and prepared for it, like before I go to a concert, then I'm okay with it. But yeah, it's when it randomly creeps up on me because I thought the Camino was going to be very light with people for the most part, and sometimes it got crowded, and I just wanted to walk and get in front of everyone. So yeah, overall looks very doable. And I'll have my same backpack, my Osprey backpack that I had for the Camino. These people don't look like they had to wear too much. Instead of packing a coat, hey, I might just bring a raincoat. My raincoat I have because that can be very insulating and keep you warm. So I'll probably have a long sleeve shirt like that Under Armour one I have. Is it Under Armour? I think so. I don't know. And maybe another shirt underneath. I don't know. It does. I do want to have some nicer looking clothes because people look like they go around the towns and the cities dressed pretty nice. I don't want to look like a hipster from the PNW. But yeah, I'm very excited about possibly hiking Mount Fuji. I'm going to be looking a lot into that. Before I get more into Tokyo, by the way, actually, let's just hit Tokyo right now. Some of the things I'm very excited about seeing in Tokyo are I'm excited about experiencing the food. There's places with coffee drinks where they froth up the top and they make it into to shapes. How do I describe this? Tokyo latte with um, with foam shapes. This is it. I have no idea what I'm doing. Yeah, look at this stuff. Who would not want to drink a cup of coffee with a frickin' tiger on top? That looks amazing. So of course, there's a Bulbasaur on this coffee. That looks awesome. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about trying a lot of the seafood, the sushi. Hopefully, I don't have an allergic reaction to anything. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to learn the Japanese kanji word for Benadryl or EpiPen. But yeah, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about just Tokyo in general, especially late at night. I cannot wait to walk around Kyoto and Tokyo and Osaka late at night with look at this, with all the lights and stuff. That looks amazing. It looks like a scene out of Blade Runner, if you're familiar with the sci-fi movie. And maybe Tokyo was an influence for Blade Runner, now that I say that out loud. But yeah, there's this square. I already have that place marked. Again, I forget the name. I just want to go and experience the energy, the culture, get some good food, good ramen. I'll be open minded. Wagyu beef, good coffees. I hear the food is actually one of the cheaper parts of Japan. Like it's not overly expensive. So, yeah, people have told me Japan's expensive, but I don't think it has to be. If I can consistently so far, I'm booking in Hustle World, everything's been around $20 per night. So that works. That works for me. The last place I'm going to show you is, and I think I'll end the video there because we're already over 30 minutes. It's a place called Nikko. And there's some cool hiking and waterfalls over here. Is this Nikko? Is this it? You know, yeah, there's temples and stuff. Maybe it'd be better. I should just type it in. Nikko, Japan. And there are some other possibilities. Again, if you've been to Japan, you have recommendations for me. So again, I have about 2-ish weeks because of Kumano Kodo. Getting there and getting out of there to Hiroshima will be pretty much a week. And I'll have to be in Kyoto for, I gotta say, probably 3-4 days. If you have recommendations of things to do, things that I need to see, please comment them below. I have a good friend that told me about Nikko and said it's beautiful, it's magical, I should go there. And as soon as I Google image searched it, I was like, whoa, this looks awesome. So I'm very excited about seeing Nikko. Again, it just looks like you're transported back in time. Something else I've noticed is compared to the big cities here in the US, the big cities in Japan, when I've seen videos on YouTube and stuff, they look clean. Like I don't see any homeless people and crackheads and drug addicts and trash. Again, different culture. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to experience some of that. Maybe not. But it looks pretty clean. So I'm excited about I'm excited to see the cities. Over time, I've been less excited about cities here in the U.S. So, yeah, waterfalls, God, look at this stuff. The pagodas, the shrines. I'm very excited about all that. And here, let's stop screen share. Let me finish up here. So after Nikko, I'll probably then go back to Tokyo, spend another night or two there, and close it out. But again, if there's any places you think I should go, please let me know. I'm really going to look at how I can book the Mount Fuji hike, and if I can, that'll be pretty sweet. The one worry I have about booking the Mount Fuji hike is that will, because it's northeast of Kyoto, that will lock in my time that I have to spend in Hiroshima, Kyoto, Mount Fuji hike, Nikko, Tokyo. And then I'll be gone and back home. So that's my general plan right now. That's this summer. I hope you guys are excited to join me for yet another adventure. This time to Asia, my first trip to Asia. I'm very pumped about it. I was torn between Japan and doing a 3-country trip to Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand. From what I read with the rainy season and stuff, it's supposedly a lot better to go during our winter. Less rainy, better weather. So those 3 countries very high on my list. Obviously New Zealand, Australia, Indonesia. The one place I'd say right now that is number 1 on my list is doing Nepal and doing the Everest Base Camp and Annapurna treks. I don't know if I can combine them both, but those I would have to do during the month of November or something. And yeah, that one will for sure happen someday. The Everest Base Camp trek looks otherworldly, just amazing. The videos, the pictures I've seen look awesome. I'm not going to climb Everest. Screw that. I don't have the money or the interest for it. I don't like climbing with technical skills. If I need more than crampons and a rope, I get disinterested, especially going downhill. Hurts my knees, freaks me out. So, anywho, I'm very excited to share this adventure with y'all. Thank you for joining me, being part of this. I had a lot of fun sharing my daily Camino vlogs last year. We'll see if I do daily vlogs again this year. It might be combining 2 days worth of content or just showing a city overall. I do like the daily format, but yeah, I'm pumped. So, anywho, Japan, summer 2024. I was supposed to go there in 2020. I had a trip booked to Indonesia, Taiwan, and Japan. I had plane tickets booked for 2020, and yeah, we don't need to get into that, but that never happened. So at least this time, I'm going to Japan. Very excited. Thank you for joining me. Buen Camino. Have a good day, everybody. Bye bye.